Good day. My name is Ndibatya from E&E Department, Stellenbosch University. I'm presenting a paper on transforming paratransit in Africa's congested cities, an ICT-enabled integrated demand-responsive transport approach. There are three indicators of a modern, efficient, and successful urban public transport system. These include mode integration, demand responsiveness, and application of ICT. With mode integration, we consider how different transport modes seamlessly interconnected to fulfill commuter trips. With demand responsiveness, we consider how the transport system responds to passenger demand at peak and off-peak hours. With ICT application, we consider how ICT is utilized to support the various aspects of the public transport system, such as booking, ticketing, scheduling, and electronic payments. The ultimate aim is to move commuters fast, safely, and within minimum pollution. Africa's developing cities are struggling with inadequate public transport provision, primarily because of inadequate planning and haphazard public transport projects implementation. The available public transport is a mix of loosely regulated paratransit modes such as minibus taxis, motorcycle taxis known as border borders, bicycle taxis. These modes of transport are chaotic, characterized by unprecedented delays, congestion, high crash rates, high levels of noise, and air pollution. This research had three objectives. One, to perform a comparative assessment of the current status and planned status of transport systems in 4 East African cities of Dar es Salaam, Kampala, Kigali, and Nairobi. Second, to propose and present a conceptual ICT-enabled integrated demand-responsive transit system that we believe can transform the chaotic paratransit system of developing cities. And three, to describe how the proposed iDRT can be applied to the transformation of congested cities. To achieve our objectives, we performed a comparative assessment of country-specific transport documents. These included city transport master plans from ministries, technical reports from implementation agencies like JICA, appraisal reports from funding agencies like World Bank and African Development Bank, and from scholarly literature. We assessed city-specific metrics associated with the selected indicators such as mode integration, demand responsiveness, and application of ICT. Here our objective was twofold. One, to understand, for instance, to what extent are the current modes of transport integrated, and what is the plan for mode integration. So the objective was to understand the current status and the plan for all the three indicators: mode integration, demand responsiveness, and application of ICT. Results from this research show that all the 4 cities score below average for all the 3 indicators, with Kigali scoring highest of all the 3, followed by Dar es Salaam, Nairobi, and Kampala coming last. The high score of Kigali could be attributed to its slightly good compared to all other 4 strategic plan that has been in force since 2010, and the newly introduced bus transport, rapid bus transit system on the various corridors of Kigali city. The spider plot on top shows the current status of all the metrics measured. For instance, the metrics for mode integration, we assessed the network integration, transport network integration, tariff integration, and whether there is how the transit-oriented development in the plan. We also assessed the future prospects as documented in the strategic plans and scored what the future status would be if the strategic plans were implemented as is. Now, still, results show that if the strategic plans were to be implemented as is, Kigali has slightly a better strategic plan for the aspects of ICT and integration and mode integration. However, it falls short on demand responsiveness, still followed by Dar es Salaam, and Uganda comes last. It should be noted that these results show that there is a planning gap in the public transport sector of all the 4 countries. And while there are many projects, isolated projects in public transport that are being implemented, they are not well integrated for the benefit of the end user. For instance, there is no one ticket for all the journeys that are taken by a public transport commuter, and also there is low use of ICT in all the aspects. Having identified that there are public transport planning gaps in all the 4 cities, we propose a paratransit transformational framework consisting of with high-frequency buses operating on trunk routes during peak hours and low-frequency buses operating during off-peak hours, minibus taxis operating on arterial routes and terminating at exchange centers on trunk routes where either high-frequency buses or low-frequency buses are seamlessly picking up the passengers. And to cater for the last mile of commute, motorcycle taxis could be added to the ecosystem, and everything could be integrated and seamlessly integrated using ICT. This slide shows several use case scenarios. For instance, in scenario B, a passenger books a journey using an online platform, and a boda is routed to their location. Then the boda takes the passenger up to an exchange, a DRT exchange center, where a minibus taxi seamlessly picks up the passenger, up to a trunk exchange center, where the passenger could be picked up by a high frequency bus, and finally a passenger walks to their destination. Now, these are different scenarios where our proposed ICT-enabled iDRT could be very important. In conclusion, transforming paratransit in developing cities of Africa and East Africa in particular will require a radical policy shift. First, by viewing paratransit, that is minibus taxis, borders, not as a disruptor, but a complementary public transport service with flexibility, adaptability, and near ubiquitous coverage as its main asset. 2. Redesign BRT corridors that fit into the existing road infrastructure and encourage shared lanes and low-cost interchange centers. And 3. Massive investment in ICT to support core aspects of the transport system. And 4. Transit-oriented development of cities. And 5. Bus renewal and replacement program to reduce emissions of the currently dilapidated buses. Thank you for listening to us. We shall be available for any questions. In case you don't get a chance to ask now, you can email your questions to the emails in the last slide. Thank you.